Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Hanna, and I'm here with the founder of the Helms Group, Dustin Helms. So,
Hi.
Dustin, tell me a little bit about what you do.
Well, I guess the best way to say it is I help people capture the American dream through franchising. So I enjoy helping making entrepreneurs out of people who have been trapped and chained by corporate America for way too long and have potential to do more.
Awesome. And Dustin, what separates a good consultant from a not so good consultant?
Experience, without a doubt. It's I have a bit of a real estate background, and in real estate, there's a saying, that the top 20% are doing at least 80% of the business, and that's really pretty true in what we do as well. There's a lot of people that, quite frankly, don't have the experience, and it makes them not as good of a guide, in my opinion, and buying a house, of course, a lot of people say that's the most expensive purchase people will make in a lifetime, right? But that's really not true, because the most expensive purchase somebody would make in a lifetime is a business. You're talking about their entire life savings that can go up in smoke if they get the wrong guidance. And so with great power comes great responsibility, some might say. And so the background of how I got to where I am today is what makes me good at what I do, because not only do I know at an intimate level what people are trying to do because I've already done it myself, but I also know how these franchisors think and act, and what's possible, what's not possible, what's realistic, what's not realistic. A good business from a bad business, right? You don't want to have anything less than the best when you're talking about your life savings, right? And so the other thing I think that a lot of people don't realize is, if you're going to hire the best attorney, you're going to pay a lot of money, right? You're going to pay $500-$600 an hour, maybe. So sometimes people might decide not to get the best attorney. They get the best attorney that they can afford. And one of the greatest advantages of what we do here at the Helms Group is that we are a completely free service for our clients. So, it doesn't matter if you're buying a franchise, whether you use our consulting services or not, the cost is going to be the same regardless. They can't charge one person one fee and another person another fee and another person a different fee, right? And the way we get paid is through a referral from the franchisor if and when you buy a franchise with them. And so because it's a free service to my clients, there's no reason why you shouldn't seek out the person that has the most experience, not only in building businesses from scratch, but understanding how franchisors operate, as well as understanding what it's like to be a franchisee, because I take my own advice from time to time, and I own a couple franchises myself. So I know what it's like to do what they're trying to do. And I think that makes me acutely aware of whether what they're trying to do is possible. And if it's not possible, then I'll tell them it's not possible. But more often than not, there's a perfect business out there for everyone somewhere. We just got to find it.
Awesome. Thank you, Dustin. And what are the key differences between buying a franchise and starting an independent business?
Starting an independent business can be hell. Not to say that owning a franchise is easy, because it's not. Any kind of entrepreneurship, is challenging, comes with good days and bad days. But, I have personally built a handful of businesses, some great, some not so great. And it's kind of like, when you start a business on your own. I started at a very young age. I didn't come up from a family of entrepreneurs. So I kind of had to figure it all out by myself. And gosh, the amount of mistakes that I made, it just was never ending. And, you don't really have anybody to talk to or lean on or I didn't really have any mentors, and so that's important. You've got to have that. And so with a franchise, you get two very important things. The first thing that you get is you get support of the franchisor, right? That means technical support, software, training, onboarding, all of those things, right? And if a franchisor can't provide that at a very, very high level, then you shouldn't buy it because you're paying a royalty for it, right? So you need to understand that you're going to get what you pay for. But then the other part of it is the network of franchisees as well, which is equally powerful. It's like the old saying, rising tide floats all boats. And it's so true whenever you start talking about the power of franchise systems. And that's the reason why it's such a huge part of our economy, is because you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. They give you the tools and the roadmap, and all you have to do is show up and implement that roadmap, right? So, if you're going to start a business on your own, then you have to have hustle, grit, tenacity. You have to have a plan. You have to have a unique model. You have to have a lot of things, right? If you're buying a franchise, the most important thing is that you show up and that you do exactly what the franchisor lays out for you. Because if you look at any franchise system, I don't care which one it is, and you go to the top 25% of the best performing franchisees in that system, the recipe is simple. They do it exactly the way the franchisor has laid it out to be, right? I use an analogy sometimes. It's like if you had a Chick-fil-A franchise and you change the chicken recipe, like it doesn't work, right? So the ones that try to buy a franchise but then run it their way, they usually either fail or they find themselves in the bottom quartile of franchisees. And so lean into what somebody else has already built, the lessons that they've already learned, and it's starting off on third base. You just have to bring it home.
Fantastic answer. What are some common mistakes that potential franchisees make during the purchasing process, and how can they be avoided?
The biggest mistake is they in my opinion, they get sold. It's like, you have a dream of doing something bold. And so you decide you're going to buy a franchise, right? And you reach out and you talk to a few, and one's got this developer that is just a diehard bona fide salesperson, right? Like they just know how to sell. And, next thing you own a business that you don't even like, or maybe you like it, but you didn't understand that it's going to take 2 or 3 years before it's going to be profitable, right? And so you really have to be successful, you really have to slow down. And you have to be more analytical and more methodical. But, it helps to know all the things that you don't know. And the only way to do that is to find someone that, again, has experience, so that they can be a guide for you and say, you know what, actually, no, this one has, had some lawsuits with some of their franchisees. That's a red flag. Or, this one closed more locations than they opened last year. That's a red flag. Or, this is a great franchise, but they're going to put you out in BFE somewhere, and I don't think that's going to be good for you or for the business, right? And so all these things come from doing this again and again and again and again and again, right? Nobody becomes a professional at anything on the first try, right? So if you want to be a professional, if you want to be an expert at buying a franchise, find an expert that you can work with and learn from that can show you the right way to go about that process. And that way it's like an insurance policy, protects your investment. So
that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dustin.
Thank you.